Welcome to the channel. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Now in today's video we are doing a question and answer session. Of course you know what this video is at. This video is at to commemorate the channel hitting 7,000 subscribers, which of course I say in every time we hit a milestone. The gratitude is to all the subscribers. Thank you everybody for continuing to support, watching, subscribing, comments, liking, etc. Obviously you guys are the reason we watch reviewers continue making videos. So for this video, it's a question and answer session. I actually set this up. Apologies, I will be touching my face quite a lot, but it's a bit of a habit. So I did make this question and answer post at 6k, and obviously I haven't got around to doing it. There's just been too much content to put out there, as you guys have been watching. So I've got all the questions ready. The response was a lot better than last time I done a question answer video. I've got about 10 pages of questions to go through. So what I have done is I've marked out the questions that I will be looking at. I've took out like repeat questions, and there was quite a bit of obviously celebratory comments. People saying thank you and well done for the achievement, etc. So I've just blanked them out. Just makes it easier for me to see. But yeah, just got to be said once more. Thank you everyone for making it possible. This channel hitting 7k. I think we're nearly at 1.5 million views as well, which for me, none of that matters, because I'm just here doing what I'm doing. The goal for the channel when I first started, it wasn't to hit 10k, 20k. I didn't really have anything in mind. It was a bit of fun, something recreational, part of a hobby maybe, because I do that sometimes. I'll just pick up a random hobby, but there you go. What I'm doing right now answers maybe 3 or 4 questions that were on the list. When will I be doing a face reveal? This is probably the only time you're going to see my face, or maybe I'll do it on odd videos like this. I didn't start the channel to have my face all over YouTube. I'm quite private. I like to keep myself to myself, maintain that privacy, if that makes sense, and just make the content more about watches and not about me. Don't really want to have a personality on YouTube. I do kind of hold back a lot of my personality. I try to keep it monotonous as possible. Just giving you facts, talking about the watch, that's all that matters. That's all I'm here for. So thank you everyone for anyway supporting that, and big shout out to everybody again for using the AliExpress affiliate links. You guys really go out your way and purchase them, considering I post a video on the last minute. But yeah, all right, so let's turn around. Let's do questions and answers. So let's look at the first one. Congratulations on the milestone. I think your work and dedication serve more than 6k. Thank you very much, Bouge Tonbul. Okay, question now. When a brand sends you a watch for free or with some type of partnership and it is a deception, okay, do you still review it in a positive way, or you avoid it because you don't want to put the watcher approved on it? So interesting question. Let's bring it back slightly. So yeah, I mean, what you'll notice a lot of YouTube reviewers, I've done it as well, we kind of feel we have to justify a watch that's been sent in. I think you guys will know better. I think it's very easy to see somebody selling something which is rubbish, right? So with regards to that, regardless of the condition of the watch and if it's good or bad, you got to say what it is. And here's some honesty from my side. When I speak to watch brands, and I'm talking to resellers, agents, whether it's a couple of micro brand owners, whatever, where this watch is I've bought, if I notice a problem, I will feedback immediately, and I'll say, but it's something which you say this will be on the review, because you guys use me as a reference point to buy stuff, and if it's clearly rubbish, you lose that credibility quite quickly. So it's not worth it at the end of the day. A relationship lost with a brand, so what? Yeah, you just keep it straight. If it's bad, it's bad, right? You recommend the improvements they need to make. If they choose to work with you again, that's their choice. For the channel, one of the biggest things is you've got to always find a way to be sustainable. So you need to be able to buy watches regardless what the price is. So if you can maintain that and then not only rely on people sending you watches, then I think you remain honest and open. Like I said, people have the ability to see through nonsense, and especially guys out there. I've always said it about the subscriber base, that I think I'd say my subscriber base, not just mine, most of the people that I read the comments, you know what you're talking about. So it's very difficult to lie to guys anyway. So hopefully that answers your question. Next one. So great channel. Okay, thank you. It's going from strength to strength. You're doing a great job. Da, da, da. Do companies like San Martin and Kronos, to some extent, who are increasing the prices, do they need to work on increasing the quality too? They give local service support. Problems where quality problems occur. I can take my Seiko and orient 2 watches to an authorized repair center for free warranty fixes. San Martin getting up there in prices. Yes, they are, and send one back China. Yeah, all right. So you're basically it's about warranty, right? And obviously watches are a bit more expensive. I've always said it from day one. You'll notice I don't ever talk about warranty on a watch from China because I have sent stuff back. China doesn't like to take things back. It's hardly ever got there. So I rely on AliExpress's refund system. Now, because I do mod watches and most of the watches happen to be NH35s or you get the odd PT5000 movements, etc., and the Miyotas, they're quite easy to sort out yourself. So you get a discount, you get a half price, you get a third, 2/3 of the price off. That's the way you should go about it. Where I think San Martin Kronos increasing the quality, I think they are. It's very clear to see. They might not hit every single watch, but they are trying to increase that. But a support service or support center in the UK, it is something that maybe they should think about, but we don't know how big they are. These companies are big to us, but you got to remember we're a very niche market. We're a niche of a niche of a niche. I think the majority of people don't consider homage brands. You can have mainstream brands that homage watches, but when you got just a pure homage brand like the stuff that we deal with, your mainstream people don't consider them. They'd rather go buy an Armani Exchange watch or a Hugo Boss watch, and that's the sad reality of it. In terms of this warranty stuff, my honest opinion is I've bought all my Seikos are second hand. I think I bought one that was brand new. If it's working for the first week or first month, the chances are it's going to work for a number of years. I've bought a Seiko Gen 1 Orange Monster, my first one that I bought. It was over like 15, 20 years old, and it looked like it hadn't been opened, and that ran very good. So that's a 7S movement, and like I said, it depends on what's actually happened to the watch. So that's my overall opinion on that. They are getting more expensive, but by them knowing there could be an issue, that's why, for example, San Martin is charging that bit extra because they're putting that much more work on the quality inspection side of things to make sure you're getting a watch that works. And there's no chance of basically comebacks. Okay, next one. Congratulations. Out of all the watches you reviewed, if you had to pick one, which one is your favorite? So yeah, as you can see some notes on that I've put on there. So I'll talk about brands rather than watches because there's just so many watches. I think I've got 250 plus videos out there. My favorite one, top of the head, I think one that sticks out straight away is this Merca Ocean Master 6105 homage. But there's been loads. I think in the beginning it was Steel Dive, the 6105 homage, Proxima I really like, even though they are quite limited to the amount of watches they make and on the type of designs they have. The 54 watch, I think the 62 Mass homage, because as you noticed through this question answer session, I've said it, Seiko that's the brand that I went towards. Of course it's affordable. I've not really looked at it. I mean, you got Citizen, Casios. I've not looked at nothing else. I am kind of stuck in my ways if I find something. So for me, Seiko's the one. So anything homaging a Seiko that does have a bit of a legendary status amongst collectors, then if they homage that, I'm game. Yeah, and that's it. And Seaston is a new one to come out. Of course, I really like what Seaston have done. The Doxa homage, mine's sitting here somewhere. Can't be bothered to get it out, but yeah, I think those are the best ones that I've looked at. I probably missed something, and I've looked at quite a lot of good stuff, to be honest. There's just so much. So hopefully that answers the question. Next. So which watch couldn't you wait to receive only to be disappointed when you got it, either for review or before your YouTube? Good question. Yeah, and I had such an experience. So before my YouTube channel, I was buying and selling quite a few watches, all Seikos. Started from quartz, went to automatic, and thing was just snowballing from there. And I'd been through maybe 150 to 200 watches before I started my YouTube channel, but all Seiko. So I built up a good knowledge base at that time. And of course I wanted the Saab 33. Now this was before they were discontinued. You could pick them up second hand around the £250 mark. I got mine for 120 or 150. So, you know, I'm a bargain hunter, and I was over the moon when I got it. You know, when I actually made the purchase. As soon as I opened the box though, oh, my heart sank. Just so disappointed. It's one of those watches, and not everybody agrees with this. It's one of those watches where it looks so much better in the pictures. When you look at pictures, it makes that watch very desirable. You think, wow, you know, the hour markers, the hands, a lot of detail in there. Very understated watch, and I think that does suit that description. Understated. That is what the Saab is, in my opinion. And when I received it, it was just too understated. Like, I looked at it and I thought, oh, it's like a SNK or one of those Seiko 5s. Very disappointed. But it's so bad that when I've seen pictures of them again, and especially now they've doubled, near enough tripled in price due to them being discontinued, it makes me want one again. The pictures made me want one again. But I always remember that how I felt. I didn't really like it. Even though I think it is a very nice watch to have, for me, it just looks too dead, too quiet. Like this one, for example, you got the green, gold, it stands out, and it's something, and it's not for nobody else, it's you, what you like to see. So I felt the Saab 32 was just a bit too plain Jane for me. So next question. What is it with watches that drives you to buy more and more? For me, I don't have a really good answer, but there's always a little itch for a watch if it gives me a certain feeling, something I don't know what it is. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think you ask any watch enthusiast, watch collector, whatever, there's nothing particular. You just look at something, your heart says, I want it. Your brain tries to rationalize it, and then your brain follows suit, and yeah, I want it. Yeah, I think that's all it is. There's something in the hobby, that collective aspect. I think what you'll find, people who are into watches do have other hobbies where they seem to collect stuff, and this is it. So I don't think there's any one clear driver. You'll make up excuses for yourself why you want this or why you want that. So I think it's part of the hobby, and it's quite an enjoyable part of the hobby if you keep it under control. Okay, so with all the experience you are getting with watches, are you considering collaborating with a watchmaker to release your own brand of watches? Ideal situation, or yeah, I would. Time doesn't permit it though. There's a lot of work that goes into it. You know, I know people who can make watches. I know the process around it, but it's just something where at the moment, work life, you know, I do like a work life balance. So with what's going on at the moment, I don't think I've got the time to do that, as well as reviews. And I think also at that point in time, if you are making watches, again, going back to the first question that was asked, you know, it is kind of a conflict of interest, because subconsciously you're going to want to push your watch, even if it's nothing special. I mean, it could be a good watch, could be nothing wrong with it, but you're always going to try and push it, because now you've got something quite big to gain. Right now, us reviewers, what do we have to gain? Commission, right, from AliExpress. So yeah, that can be argued that there is a little bit of a, you know, push there, which makes you want to kind of push that watch. And if it's a good watch, why not, right? Everyone's got to make money somehow. But yeah, I think with the brand side of things, I'd love to, but not right now. I don't think I've got the time right now. If money was an issue, which watch would you buy? So this question I'll address about Grail watches, or money's not an option, what would you buy? There's only two that, you know, I've given this quite a bit of thought, and there's only two that I would probably look at. Is one would be the Rolex Daytona. Obviously quite an expensive watch. That is out of budget, I'd say. I don't know where I'll be in 10 years time, but yeah, the Daytona is something that I want. And the other one is the Seiko. It's a Grand Seiko 20th anniversary spring drive. There's like a line maiden dial. I'll put a picture up if I can, but yeah, that watch just looks absolutely stunning. It's a bit more affordable at like £9,500, but there is a part of me where, and I think I do this with all hobbies, I keep it realistic and relative. If I was a millionaire, 10 grand is nothing. But you know, in terms of right now, it isn't unaffordable. Of course, it still is attainable. You got finance packages, etc. But I think 10 grand on a watch is, I don't know, and I don't think I'll get 10 grand's worth of extras. You know, so yeah, I still try to keep a level head. I might buy a 2 grand watch, and if that was the case, something which is attainable, I don't know what I'd look at. I'd probably be a normal Grand Seiko, second hand maybe. So yeah. Okay. Given Next question. So given the price point of the movements in the majority of watches reviewed, would you try servicing the movement or just replace it if one develop an issue outside the warranty period? Most watches, as I said, NH35, Seikos, NH36s, whatever, and because I do, know how to mod, I would never service that. They're worth what, 20-25 pounds, aside from this false inflation due to COVID. It's not worth paying whatever, because it does take a bit of time to service a watch. The watch is 20-25, that's the movement, 25 quid, so I'll just replace the movement. I've had no issues with them, and like I said, if you've got a working one, chances are nothing will go wrong with it if obviously you use it properly. Next one. What is the watch that you wish you never did a review on, and what watch brand did you love besides Seikos? I don't think there's a watch that I wish I never reviewed. Yeah, I think the closest thing I had was the Pagani design Otavia Homage. I'd done that back in the day when I started my channel first, and I messed up on the specs. My bad. The seller told me it was sapphire. So I never knew then what I know now, and I ended up making 3 videos like apologetic and I'm sorry everyone, and they made a mistake, and I went as far as like bullying the seller or manipulating him in a way to say basically people have bought watches because of me, so now you need to give them something. And he did promise that he'll give a slight refund to anyone who bought it, so he did give me his details. I don't know what came of that, but yeah, I mean, that's naivety, that's it. But I don't wish I never reviewed it. Second one down, which watch brand did you or do you love besides Seiko? I just love Seiko, guys. It's a weird one. I do polarize myself. I've said that in a few videos, that I know what I know, and I'm comfortable in knowing that. I think branching out, looking at other things, it's going to be difficult to find it. Probably, I don't know, it's out of my comfort zone. Saying that, there's a micro brand that I really like. Obviously, Zelos is one. Another one is Nodus. Nodus is really good. I really like what they've done with the watches. The styling, the finish looks like impeccable. It's really, really up there, and that's one that I really do like besides Seiko. Which watch from your collection spends IP blade? Vinny, how are you doing, Vinny? So which watch from your collection spends the most time on your wrist, and do you regret selling any watches? Ironically, the answer is Saab 33. As I mentioned about the Saab, it plays on my mind, this watch does. And I know I didn't like it, but because I got a Seiko collection, I think it's something that you should have in a collection. So that's why I'm always thinking about it. Until this day, I'm still keeping an eye on a Saab 33, but I'm not going to pay £500-600 for it. Yeah, that's the one probably that I should have, but I didn't like it when I had it. So next question. Your left thumb is slowly getting legendary in the world of watches. Do you think it adds to the appeal and uniqueness of your videos? Congrats on the 6K, Julian DL. Good question. Yeah, I've had comments which people think I might find insensitive or something about my hand. You know what? It's like a partial amputation, fingers slightly damaged, but because obviously it happened to me in my 20s. And I'm in my 30s now. It doesn't bother me. People have said it's a bit disgusting to look at, whatever, but I don't get that. I think we see a lot of stuff on TV that's far more disgusting and disturbing, but we're okay with it. If someone doesn't want to watch it, feel free to turn it off, I suppose. I don't hide. I would never hide it, so I know what people say, don't show it. And if you're feeling that sick by it, then really look at what you're watching. Aside from that, so yeah, that's just me. And yeah, it didn't really bother me anyway, so whatever to that one. But yeah, but whatever in terms of the people that say the negativity, it is what it is. And maybe it is a unique thing, probably. Yeah, it is recognizable. You'll know exactly who it is by the hand. So yeah, I think maybe could be my trademark. I should have named the channel 1.5 thumbs up, maybe. Something like that. But next one. Do you think SM is better than Chronos? What do you think about the PT5000? And do you prefer a NH35 over a PT? So San Martin Chronos, they're very close together. They are linked through experiences and people. They do know each other. I think they share the factory as well. I think when Chronos came out, they were just basically copying SM, putting their own name on there. Slight differences because I did do a couple of comparisons, and I think on some watches, Chronos give you better value for money. They'll put a PT5000 in the equivalent which San Martin put a NS35. They do something slightly different. Maybe that's because they haven't got access to the same suppliers or same tier 1, tier 2 suppliers, who knows. And I think they're okay though, but San Martin's got a lot more models obviously, and I think overall better San Martin I'd say would be above Chronos, even though Chronos have got some really incredible watches. I think they've got the Bronze Diver, which has got like the best loom ever, and they've got that Sea Dweller Homage that done 2,000 meters on the pressure underwater channel, whatever it was. Now in terms of the movement, the PT5000 movement, it is a good movement, right? But it's like most clones of the ETA. They have inherited a couple of issues from the ETA, which is I think the winding mechanism really, and some oiling issue. It is made in China, so it is susceptible to like cleanliness, basically how it's put together. But I'd say it is a very reliable movement. The ones I've had with that movement I've had no issues on. They haven't stopped working on me or they've gone wrong. They've remained pretty consistent. And you know, in terms of versus the NS35, I do prefer the NS35 because there's a lot more points for it. It's a lot more affordable. No need to service it really. I mean, some people service Seiko movements. I don't know why, unless there's something wrong with it. But again, going back to the previous question, just replace it if you know how to, or just buy a movement, give it to a watchmaker, ask him to swap it out. Reliability, NS35 is a lot more reliable. They are a proven workhorse movement. I think it was the 7309 movement, which went to 7S movement, which is now the NH movement. They haven't really changed much. 6R15, they all got the same base. So it's just like a Honda, isn't it? Honda Civic, doesn't break. So yeah, I do prefer the NS85 overall. Next question, best looking Bay style diver, no coating, no painting, no nonsense, straight up stainless steel, titanium, tough as nails, bare knuckle, good old fashioned piece of functional tool. Was a mouthful, yeah. Seiko Tuna, Baby Tuna, Seiko Monster, yeah, those three watches. And any other Seiko watch that uses just a metal bezel, right? They've got the BFK as well, although has a aluminium bezel insert, but out of those, no doubt about it. Alex, when are you doing a face reveal? There you go, bro, answered the question. Next one down, biggest regret in my life. And if you could turn back time, what would you change? Watch related or not? Congrats, enjoy your channel as a very informative style rather than the entertainment style of many others. Ken Tan. Alright, Ken, biggest regret? I don't know. It's one of those cliche questions, right? I think everyone's got some regrets, but I don't regret anything. You just learn from it. Obviously, I think everyone does wish that if you could take back what you know now into life, would it be different? But I think ultimately what you go through shapes how you are, what decisions you make. I don't think I'm overly I think I've learned from my mistakes basically, and that's how, you know, if somebody learns from the mistakes, then they're alright, then they don't regret much. It's people that don't kind of learn, and they don't learn lessons in life, etc., and you always keep repeating the mistakes you're making, then I think you're full of regrets. That's about it really. Which watch of yours, present or past owned, has received the most notice, positive comments from people you interact with who aren't part of the YouTube watch community? I can't say there's any. People who are not into watches don't notice your watch. I think you guys can attest to that. If you're out and about, work colleagues, whoever, family, if they're not into watches, they will just not even look at your watch. And it's something, when I was into watches, I never noticed anybody's watch. I thought, oh, that's a nice watch, unless, I don't know, it was shining in my face or something, or it was a blinged out Rolex. But yeah, none, right? I think only when you show them, then they're like, oh, okay, that's a nice watch. And to be honest with you, people that don't know about watches will say every watch is a nice watch. So yeah, that's that. So congrats on the 6Ks from Philo. What other hobbies, non-watch related, do you have? And of course, Philo also asked about the Grail watch. I've addressed the Grail watch part of the Grail. Hobbies, yeah, put a video up not long ago. It was my airsoft stuff, so yeah, I'm into that. I'm into just generally laddish stuff. Hobbies, gym, working out, of course, bit of wrestling, just messing about with lads and whatnot. Archery, horse riding, hiking, anything. I love nature, so you know, if you're out there in the woods sneaking around, well, I enjoy that. Hiking, mountain climbing, I enjoy some hunting, whether it's pheasant, rabbit, whatever. Yeah, just really activities where you really get involved. Paintballing, stuff like that. Obviously, I haven't been on racetrack, but I do like cars, so it's not something that I've done. Maybe I can start doing that, going on track with maybe some cars or something. But yeah, just general, I think, run-of-the-mill hobbies. Really nothing spectacular. Next one. If you had to put a starter collection together with $500, what would you? So I'm assuming you're asking about AliExpress there, Erod 818. Yeah, because $500, that's one Seiko, if on a second-hand one. But yeah, in terms of what's out there on AliExpress, there's loads out there, and it depends on your personal taste. My watches, I've accumulated a lot more dive watches. I'd get a few different dive watches. I'd get like a Turtle homage, Samurai homage. I'd get a 6.2 Mass homage. I'd get, you know, like the Merca Ocean Master. You got Thorn. You got so many. And I think they're all great starters. One of them being is the Steel Dive SD 1970, the Captain Willard homage. I think it's a fantastic watch for the money. But they've gone down now from when I first bought mine. They've halved in price, so I think that's a great watch to have. And that's the beauty of AliExpress. You're getting good spec'd out watches. The only thing missing is the name. QC, that's in everything, but because of the price, you know, you're getting watches that really haven't had any QC except maybe some in-process checks that they're doing, but you know, they can be easily missed. But yeah, so easy to, that's distracting, isn't it? What is that? Yeah, so you've got also a lot of nice dress watch options from like Pagani Design, Cadison, etc. So there's a lot of really budget price options, which I think for $500 you could get like a good, I don't know, 7-8 watches, I suppose. Next one down. If there was only one watch brand left in the world, which one would you want it to be? And if you had the power to make one brand cease to exist, which one would it be? Oh, so that is obviously Seiko, right? To no surprise to anyone. Make one brand. I wouldn't make one brand cease to exist, I don't think. I'd like to say Rolex, right? Because I think Rolex is one of those watches which has, you know the background of Rolex and what people say, obviously, you know, artificial demand, whatever they do, all these things, how they manipulate the markets, whatever. It's business at the end of the day. I don't have much of an issue with it, but it's just the fact that it's about non-watch people. Everyone knows what Rolex is, so that's the beauty of the marketing, which is why they are where they are. But people think like those are the watches, those are the only watches that exist, or that's the watch to go for. And I think a lot of the people that do buy the Rolex Submariner or whatever haven't got a clue about watches. It's just got money. Let's go buy a Rollie. But yeah, I don't really want it to cease to exist. But if there was one, just to entertain that question and look at the hypotheticals of it, Rolex. Are there any good Cartier homages, Cartier tank homages? And not that I've seen, but there's a lot of watches that are similar to that. So can you share more about what got you interested in watches and starting this channel, as well as how you produce your videos? Video production is just done by a phone. I got a contract upgrade and I just use a second phone just to make videos now. I keep my phone here. What got me interested? Random. It was totally random. I've mentioned on a couple of videos before. I had a watch which was like a wedding gift. Armani stopped working. Went to get it fixed. The quoted at £80. I thought, forget that. I went on eBay. After I opened the watch up, found the movement, some Miyota, cheap £2.50 movement, and this one thought, hang on a minute, why is that so cheap? And then I started looking into it, and I found out these fashion brand watches are just a rip-off. So I thought, okay, and I bought another Armani, imagine that. And I think that was the catalyst for just me getting into watches. I started looking at Seikos. I bought a Seiko chronograph. I bought a few Seiko chronographs. I bought a good 5 or 10 Seiko chronographs, and I thought, wow, these watches are incredible. In comparison to obviously the Armani, world of difference. And then I ended up getting my first auto. I was excited. I don't know, I was just so happy to get my first automatic watch. And then just, you know, when I get into a hobby, I deep dive into whatever I'm doing. I try to find out everything I can about it, and that's how we ended up here. And it was AliExpress homage watches. It was the Captain Willard homage, the Proxima M300 homage. All these were, when I came across them and looking at all these Seikos and the money you're spending on them, I thought, wow, this is incredible. And when I done the search on the Steel Dive, no reviews, so I thought I need to get this information out. It's too much here. And I made my first, like, very amateur, not that these videos are professional, but very amateur first attempt at a video in a little white box, me talking, stuttering away, ums and ahs, really, that's all it was. So let's go on. How many is too many? That's entirely up to you. You know, I've got like 40 odd and I want to get rid of some of them, if not half. Do you have any luxury watches in your collection? No luxury watches. Andrew, quick, best Sumo homage out there, I'd say San Martin SN079. But you know, the Steel Dive and the Heimdall are very close. The thing that separates them all is the bracelet, basically. Which watch YouTubers do you think you can take in a fight? Jody or Jory or Tristano or Archie? Brian, what a crazy question you've asked there. I don't know. I don't know who Tristano is, and don't know what Archie is, so I can't comment on them two. Jody or Jory? You know what? Just let's entertain the hypothetics here. Jody is a Scotsman. Jody, after a couple of glasses, don't know. I don't think I'd want to fight him. You know, they say never judge a book by its cover, and especially with all the MMA training out there, you know, you don't want to just misjudge somebody and get, you know, laid out on the floor. Jory looks like he could hold himself, right? He's a big lad. He's got weight behind him. So if I were to fight anyone, Jory, right? I'm not saying I could take him. Who knows? Yeah, that'd be a good tussle, I think. I think Jody's a nice guy anyway. I think Jody would just laugh and be like, yeah, whatever, here's a watch. So yeah, but I like the question, you know, and there's no malice behind that, and obviously don't take anything I say too seriously, unless, you know, especially what's going on YouTube now, you'll end up seeing a boxing match between YouTube watch reviewers. That will be interesting. Jake Paul eat a heart out. Let's go back to Andrew, another question, let's go for it, mate. Do you have any ethical red flags when putting, so you can see that, Seiko dial in a homage case? Very good question. It ties in with my mods, and a lot of people are modding, and this is something which is obviously quite popular out there on eBay, on Gumtree, wherever you look at it. I don't really, because it's your intention behind it and how you sell it. If you're selling it as the real deal, then 100% I have a problem with the ethics of it. But Seiko, like, if you do that to a Rolex, it's a lot worse. I don't know why. So if you get a sub case and put Roly dial in there, people would think it's like committing murder, because that's probably what it means. You know, Rolex more often than not means snobbery, so people think you're trying to be somebody you're not. I think that's the issue behind that. With regards to Seiko, I was laughing at the first point in time. When I seen homages, I laughed. I thought, who's making Seiko homages? And when I seen Wish replicas, again, I was talking to a mate of mine. I was saying, why would you go out your way to make a replica of a watch that's so affordable? But yeah, it happens. So I think with how the modding scene started was SKX 007s, where I think it was China, Japan, where people wanted to modify them and think, you know what, I can do so much more with this watch. This watch should have had this, should have had that, should have been sapphire, should have been ceramic, etc. And yeah, I've got an issue, in all honesty, because you're putting it as a homage. I know there's people out there that don't know watches, so they might see a sub case with a Seiko dial and think it's a Submariner. But any listing I have done or have sold, I've always made it very clear that this is not a original watch. It's modded, and what that means or what that entails. So I've got no issue with that, as long as you're very clear in what your intention is and you tell people what it is. Would you ever do an ugliest watches on AliExpress list video? I've done the good, bad, the ugly for 2020, so that covered the ugly section. What are the best small under 38mm watches? You're looking at probably the San Martin at the moment, Explorer homage, maybe some Boltonese, those military style field watches. Yeah, maybe the SKX13 as well. There's not that many, but yeah, the ones that are there have a very similar style, I suppose. Andrew, what are you messing about? Were you, Andy? Football, cricket, Formula One, or none of? I'm not a footballer. Really don't like football. Never really got into it. Maybe because I wasn't good enough. Okay as a defender, I suppose. Cricket, yeah, I should play quite a bit of cricket. Nothing obviously professional. It was all just recreational. Hours and hours on bowling, batting, fielding, etc. Formula One, I don't follow it. I don't follow much sports actually, but definitely appreciate it. And I know what I need to know about it basically to hold a conversation with someone. Right now, it's Mr. Verstappen and Mr. Hamilton. Uh, causing a few issues. But yeah, I love the driving aspect. I love the technical aspect. I love how the steering wheels are just so complex and how far or how good the drivers need to be. It's not just about purely driving. It's about technical aspects, tactical aspects, and just the sheer physics of the sport. I absolutely love it. I really appreciate it. So, C-Stern or Proxima, they do different things. I think they're both built really well. If you just focus on build quality, I'd say Proxima possibly. But C-Stern, again, my mind's like that with them too because they're both very good. And Proxima just do MM300 Homages and like Samurai cases basically. And C-Stern do a lot more. And I think what C-Stern have probably got planned, overall I'll go for C-Stern then because the watches they've come out with so far are just crazy. The value for money is really, really up there. It's probably the best value for money out there. You're looking at all the polishing, the detailing, the manufacturing behind it, the quality that you get off the end product, and of course the designs and the homage they're doing is really incredible. Peter Parker. Pros and cons of being a YouTube watch reviewer and impact collector. So the impact of the YouTube reviewing hobby on you as a watch collector, pros and cons. Yeah, so it's a loaded question, very good question, and it has affected me in my hobby because, like I said beforehand, you can watch reviews, but ideally you want to watch in hand. So you just buy random watches, and it's no good. I'll sell that. I'll sell that. I'll sell that, and then I'll buy this, whatever. The thing with the YouTube side of it, the pros are you lose that. Basically, you get to try a lot of watches. So when you're sitting there thinking, I want to buy a watch, you don't spend a lot of money. If you get to the point when you get watches sent to you. Now, with the AliExpress stuff, even if you are spending money, it's not a lot. So you do kind of lose that desire to go and get yourself a watch, and you treat your watch collection separate to the watches you review. You don't include them in your collection like that. I don't anyway. And I only wear them for the purpose of a review. So I get my writs out of it, let's just say, and then I'm going back to wearing my watches, if that makes sense. So unless if they're that good, I include them into my collection then. So yeah, the benefit is you don't desire a lot of watches because you go through, so you lose that bit of thing, that way I need to get a watch, and because you get so many coming through your hands, and that can also be a negative then because the flip side of that is, that honeymoon period is so short. It's like 10 minutes in comparison. So normally when you get a watch and you'll be happy with that for a week, 2 weeks, a month, however long it is. When you've had so many watches through your hands, your honeymoon period can be half a day. Honestly, we get it, I like that, amazing. And then you're over it very quickly, and then you could do with another watch, if that makes sense. Brian basically forgot his question, so we'll move on. Keep one watch till you die, what will you choose? I don't know. That's a tough question, guys, so I'm going to move on from that one. You are the poet in my storm during this pandemic. Oh, thanks, Mark. Really appreciate that. Spicy Dragon. Yeah, thank you very much. And a lot of these things I've blanked out. They are actually comments supporting the channel and saying congratulations. I really do appreciate them, guys. But obviously for the purpose of this video, I've not included them. So really appreciate the input always. Okay, so Julian, big question. Basically the question is saying that if I had two choices, first option, hypotheticals, right? I have got two choices. I've got a box containing a platinum Rolex Daytona, and that's where you know, it starts to get serious because I won at Daytona, and $1 million. You go on your merry way and live the rest of your life as you always wanted, but you have to stop doing watch reviews. Second option, have this wooden crate from China containing unlimited amount of watches that you can review, but you can't sell. What would I do? I'd go for the Platinum Daytona and the Millie, because you can do so much more, right? No point just sticking to just that and not reviews. Like I said, I like reviewing watches, but $1 million, $1 million, right? And a Platinum Rolex Daytona, and I'll just make watches. Then I'd get into working with owners and make my own watch brand, and then give them out to people to review, I suppose. So I'm still involved in that. So I like that question. Next. Yeah, again, congratulations again. And what do your workmates think of your watch hobby, and how much shit do you get for it? You know what? None. Again, workmates and people who are not in the hobby don't even notice them. I'm quite a persuasive talker. I speak with some passion sometimes. So when I'm telling someone about a watch, I'm like, yeah, look at this. This is really good. It does this, does that. And they're probably thinking, what are you talking about? It's just a watch. So I'll involve whoever shows like 10 seconds of interest into the watch hobby. I'll fill them with so much information, and they probably switch off and think, wow, mate, this guy's nuts. So you don't get no shit for it. Don't get no shit from anyone, to be honest. So next. You're one of the best experts about AliExpress. Come on, get off it. Which auto watch is currently best? None. They're all good. That's a tough question to answer. It's probably impossible. I mean, anything with a Seiko NH35 movement in there, anything in the 130 to 160 to 170 pound price bracket is going to be good. So much choice. Francois, could you make a video on how to use a time grapher? You sure can, but I would at this point take the time to recommend a watch channel called Watch a Lot, and he has his own channel as well. Shout out to you, mate. Really informative video on time grapher, and if anything, it's from that video that I learned how to use a time grapher. Watch a Lot knows what he's talking about. He's got some very humorous reviews. So guys, head on over, subscribe to him. I really like the way he does them. His commentary is fantastic. Really good, dry sense of humor, which I always find myself laughing at those videos. Funny guy. So yeah, I will link that if you want to look at it. It's quite informative, as I said. Bill Callum. So these are the guys from the Facebook group. These are the questions from there. So we're nearing to the end. Do you recommend watch winders? So watch winders, when you get into the hobby of watches, you want to get every little auxiliary, every little accessory. I've even gone as far as buying like a silicone silicone, like this coating for watches. And watch winders, I spent quite a bit of time researching them. Now, the overall, I think, consensus from the watch gurus is that they're not needed. You can look at various principles. You can bring cars into it, engines into it. You've got a movement which you're continuously putting under use 24/7 all the time, and you increase the weight, obviously. Now, I think older watches, because they used mineral oils, it was probably necessary to keep them in motion to stop them obviously jamming up. But now you've got purely synthetic oils, so the watch will stay good for a very long time. And I think with my stuff, I can leave it for months and then use it. So it's good to, I think, rotate them to make sure they have a break, and to make sure they have a break and then use, have a break and then use. But watch winders, I don't think that's the right way to go about it. Like I said, there's no real thing for it unless they look nice. That's what it is. So there's also, I think, watches which are not recommended to be placed into watch winders. So I think for that reason, I'd stay away from them. I think, a company contact me asking me to review a watch winder, and I just didn't bother getting back to them because, I don't want to end up recommending something which I don't think you need, in all honesty. Next question: which platform would you say is the best place to buy and sell modded watches? eBay's kind of tight now. I don't know, guys. I don't know what's out there now. I've kind of paused on my watch modding, so if anyone can mention anything in the comment section. Tony's saying 4K. Tony, I agree with you, but you know what? It's time. Time is money. Right now, I don't have a lot of time So I think doing watches in 4K, it just adds to my overall like rendering time on my phone. So I'll do 60 FPS at 1080, which I think is a lot better. But yeah, 4K is not going to happen anytime soon, brother. No one's got time for that yet. Next, Holy Grail watch. We've covered that. Thank you, Hamoud Abu Hamoud. Yeah, Dan Sigal. Okay, so face reveal answered. Why does no decent AliExpress brand use satin finishing, bead blasting, or other finishing methods? Have you thought about designing and making your own watches? So I've answered I thought, but regarding satinized finishing, bead blasting, other methods, I think this year, especially the last 6 months, we've seen an increase, mainly from Seastern and other brands like Sieg Flammer I looked at. They have started to increase in the type of finishing they do. St. Martin have improved finishing, but I get what you're saying, different types. And we are seeing this satinized finish across a lot more watches, a lot more bracelets, cases. Personal favorite of mine on any watch case is that chamfered edge along the sides of the case. Those polished profiles, and I'll show you on this, for example. You know, this line that you get here. I really think that makes cases stand out so much. So any watch which has got at least that on there is a bonus for me. So next question, Simcha. Hopefully I'm saying your names right, by the way. But do you think Seiko gave up an affordable line, Seiko 5, because they couldn't compete with the Chinese specs and quality for better price? I think AliExpress Chinese watches are making that much of an impact on Seiko, in all honesty, because I've got Homage watches, but if I want a Seiko, I'll buy a Seiko. So I don't think they're that big to have that much of a big impact on them, in all honesty. I think they've run out of ideas. If you look at the mainstream releases in the last, I don't know, couple of years, it's been reissues after reissue after reissue after reissue, doubling the price, sending reissues out at £1,200 for like effectively NH35 movement, a souped up movement. What better, more hours, right? Is that it? So yeah, I think they're on that issue of ideas. They need to really go back to the roots and come out with some like innovative stuff. Obviously bring back that affordability. Yeah, Seiko 5s, yeah, they've got some imagination lost, and they're doing a lot of these collaborations, this anime designs, which I don't know who. Yeah, it will get some people, but I don't think it'll apply to everyone. Will like it, to be honest. So yeah, I think they do need to go back to that tall tool, like affordability, where they were functional watches. They need to bring that in. I mean, the SKX 007, they killed that bad move, and I think they need to go back to that kind of concept they had before. So next one, and Gerbraken, what we got here? Big question. So rising material, rising labor costs, VAT regs, price of watches will continue to rise, making it less and less of a value proposition. May drive buyers back to traditional manufacturers and purchase routes, dropping Chinese volumes to a point where it makes it hard to profit, and we could see manufacturers stop producing. I don't know, I don't know. I think the AliExpress stuff is cheaper than a lot of your watches anyway. If anything, it might make known brands kind of drop the prices a bit, but not really, because everything's going up. So, or it might make them increase specs, basically give you better value for money. I think the Chinese don't help themselves, and I've spoken to a couple of other like actual watch brands or factories from China. They're very annoyed at a lot of the agents. But again, they don't help themselves. So you'll have, let's take Heimdall in question. They'll sell their watches to all the resellers, which will undercut Heimdall themselves because they want to make money. Now resellers, it's just like me or you. I'll contact them, say, give me your stock and let me sell it for you. That's all it is. So I don't really care about the watch market. I just want to make money. And I think this is what they do. So if you look at prices, they've gone down. If you look at Steel Dive, Heimdall, Heimdall would come out when I was buying watches first around 150. Steel Dive was a 120, 130. Now they're less than that. So yeah, and they're giving you more for your money. So I think it's going to come to a point where what else can they give for 80 or 90 pound? Look up Pocani design. Bloody hell, what do you get for your money? You get everything. Only thing missing is that overall quality, but you can't expect that at that price point as well. So San Martin are going up, but I think that's for other reasons, because they really want to separate themselves and be a micro brand that's recognized by a lot more mainstream people. But yeah, I, I think they'll mess themselves up if they keep undercutting. Then what profit have you got left in the product? Then is it even worthwhile to spend, I don't know, £10,000 to make £1,000? I don't think so. So hopefully it doesn't get to that stage and they keep prices at a reasonable rate. You know, it's good if it's cheap for us, but we've got to see the effect on the market. Then again, it's saturated and it kills a lot of watches off. I would not want to be in the market, and that's why micro brands price themselves differently, and people who understand that, they do. Um, and that's it, guys. We're done with the questions. So yeah, so hopefully, guys, you enjoyed that. And yeah, for the rest of the reviews, you won't see my face unless I do a random video. But yeah, thank you, everybody. So what I will do, I will pick a couple of questions which I thought were really good. Then I will announce the giveaway watches. See what you guys like, and then we'll get people to respond and we'll post them out. Simple as. Thank you for all your support that you give, and hope you can enjoy some watches back from myself. So again, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.